What if the breakfast that promises to protect your heart is quietly harming it? Low-fat yogurt, cereal with heart-healthy labels. You've trusted them for decades, but after 60, your body changes, and what once felt light may now be fueling inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and hidden artery damage. Dr. Evelyn Hart reveals the breakfast trap most seniors still fall into, and what to eat instead for real energy, clarity, and cardiovascular protection. You were told fat was the problem, but the real danger often wears a low-fat disguise. New science now shows many breakfast foods marketed as healthy may actually speed up aging, gut damage, and insulin resistance, especially in older adults. Today we'll walk through 5 small shifts that reverse that risk. Simple, no extremes, just clarity, calm, and a breakfast your heart will thank you for. 1. Blood sugar spike. After low-fat meals. You'd think starting the day with something labeled low-fat is a wise choice, but after 60, your body plays by different rules. Dr. Evelyn Hart explains it this way. When you remove the fat, the food has to feel satisfying somehow. So companies load it with sugar, starches, or artificial sweetness that hit fast, especially in the morning when your metabolism is most sensitive. And here's the silent truth. That low-fat yogurt, it could spike your blood sugar as high as a soda. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine 2025 tracked over 4,000 adults aged 60 plus. They found that every 10% increase in daily refined carbohydrate intake was associated with a 13% decrease in healthy aging markers, including blood pressure, cholesterol, and waist circumference. Why? Because your cells respond to that surge by pumping out insulin again and again. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, the biological equivalent of knocking on a door so many times the person inside stops answering. And when insulin doesn't respond, sugar stays in your blood. That means more inflammation, more plaque, more fatigue. Let's take Roger, age 72. He never skipped breakfast, always had his light cereal, skim milk, maybe half a banana. But by 10:30 a.m., he was yawning. By noon, he was ravenous. His doctor said it was normal aging, but it wasn't. It was his glucose roller coaster. When Roger swapped his cereal for steel-cut oats cooked in almond milk, topped with walnuts and cinnamon, something shifted. His energy steadied. His belly didn't bloat, and he didn't crash by mid-morning. Why? Because oats digest slowly, because cinnamon helps stabilize glucose, because fat tells your brain, we're satisfied now. Think of your morning blood sugar like a boat on still water. Sugar-laden, low-fat meals, they create waves, but the right breakfast, it lets you glide. Here's your simple fix. Tomorrow morning, skip the low-fat cereal box. Try this instead. Half-cup cooked steel-cut oats plus 1 tablespoon walnuts plus dash of cinnamon. Add protein if needed, like a soft-boiled egg. And give it 7 days. You might feel steadier, clearer, lighter. Quick question before we continue. Have you ever felt drained an hour after eating what you thought was a healthy breakfast? 2. Inflammaging. The quiet heart. Killer. You don't feel it, but it's there. A slow burn deep inside your blood vessels. Doctors call it inflammaging. The chronic low-grade inflammation that builds silently as we age. It doesn't scream. It whispers. And over time, it weakens the very walls meant to protect your heart. Dr. Evelyn Hart often explains it like this. If oxidation is the spark and sugar is the fuel, then many low-fat breakfasts are like tossing kindling into a dry forest. You may not notice the damage today, but the fire's already lit. A landmark study from the University of Bologna, 2021, tracked 2,500 older adults and found that those who consumed a high glycemic breakfast, like fruit-flavored yogurt or toast with jam, had 48% higher markers of CRP, an inflammatory signal linked directly to heart disease and cognitive decline. Now, here's the good news. Certain foods can gently quench this internal fire. Let's meet Mary, 69. She came to Dr. Hart not for heart issues, but for joint pain and foggy mornings. Turns out, her breakfast was a bowl of strawberry yogurt and a bagel, low in fat, high in sugar. Her blood tests showed signs of inflammation most doctors overlook. Dr. Hart guided her toward a calmer morning. Plain Greek yogurt, a spoon of chia seeds, fresh blueberries, and a drizzle of raw honey. Within 4 weeks, her CRP dropped. Her knees hurt less. Her mind? She said it felt like someone opened a window. The science backs it up. Chia seeds provide omega-3s, which modulate inflammatory pathways. Berries contain polyphenols that protect blood vessels like tiny shields. And raw honey, in small amounts, it soothes without the spike. Imagine your bloodstream like a calm stream. Refined sugars stir up sediment, making the water cloudy. But whole foods, they act like natural filters, helping you see and feel clearly again. Try this tomorrow. 3/4 cup, plain Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon, chia seeds soaked. If you prefer 1/2 cup, fresh blueberries, 1 teaspoon, raw honey. Give it 7 days. And notice, are your mornings clearer? Is your body quieter? Have you ever felt your body relax after switching just one food in your morning? 3. Gut flora and the aging heart. It's easy to forget that your heart isn't working alone. Every beat depends on a silent partner, your gut. Over the last decade, scientists have discovered a powerful link between gut bacteria and cardiovascular health, one that becomes more fragile as we age. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. In a healthy gut, good bacteria help digest food, control inflammation, and even produce compounds that protect blood vessels. But with age, especially after 60, these beneficial microbes decline. Processed breakfast foods, they don't help. In fact, they feed the wrong kind of bacteria, the ones that produce TMAO, a compound linked to artery hardening. A 2022 review published in Nature Reviews Cardiology found that elevated TMAO levels correlated with a 55% increase in cardiovascular events among seniors. One of the triggers? Low-fiber, high-carb diets, like toast and jam or fruit smoothies without pulp. Let me tell you about Ben. He's 75, active, sharp. But he started noticing more fatigue on his morning walks. His blood pressure was creeping up. His breakfasts were healthy, fruit juice, maybe some cereal, but his gut microbiome was off balance. Dr. Hart introduced him to prebiotic fiber, not a supplement, just food. Chopped apples with skin, a spoon of ground flax, rolled oats, and a surprise, a small glass of kefir, rich in live cultures that support bacterial diversity. Within a month, his energy came back. His digestion eased, and his doctor noted a 9-point drop in systolic pressure. Think of your gut like a garden. Feed it sugar and weeds grow. Feed it fiber and fermented foods, and you get roses, roots, and balance. How to try this tomorrow. 1/2 an apple with peel, chopped 1 teaspoon, ground flaxseed 1/2 cup, plain kefir, unsweetened. Layer into your breakfast, or have as a standalone 30 minutes before coffee. Let your heart benefit from the support systems it's always had, but maybe you forgot to feed. 4. Coffee timing and arterial flexibility. Most people don't think twice about when they drink their morning coffee, but your arteries do. When you wake up, cortisol, your body's natural get-going hormone, is already rising. Layering caffeine on top of that spike, it pushes your system into overdrive, tightening blood vessels just as your body is trying to expand and circulate. Dr. Evelyn Hart puts it simply. Think of cortisol like the ignition key. Coffee is the gas pedal, but without warming up, you're revving too hard, too soon. A study from the Journal of Clinical Hypertension, 2020, examined morning caffeine timing in 1,100 adults over 60. Those who drank coffee within 15 minutes of waking showed a 17% increase in arterial stiffness compared to those who delayed it by just 45 minutes. Stiff arteries don't just affect blood pressure, they reduce oxygen flow, stress the heart, and accelerate brain fog, especially in the morning hours when focus should be peaking. Let's take Martha, age 68. She loved her 6:30 a.m. brew, strong and immediate, but she often felt shaky, then sluggish by 9. At her checkup, her pulse pressure was elevated, a subtle warning sign. Instead of cutting coffee, doctor, heart helped her shift it. Martha began starting her day with a warm cup of lemon water, plus a pinch of salt to hydrate and support adrenal function. She waited 45 minutes, enough time for cortisol to settle, then enjoyed her regular coffee. The result? No more crash, steadier mood, and more clarity throughout the morning. Caffeine isn't the enemy, it's about rhythm. Try this protocol. Upon waking, 1 cup warm water plus 1 lemon slice plus a pinch of pink salt. Wait at least 45 minutes. Then enjoy your coffee as usual, black or with protein/fat, not sugar. It's like letting your heart stretch before asking it to run. 5. The big mistake, cutting fat, adding sugar. In the 1980s, we were told one thing over and over. Fat clogs your arteries. Cut it to stay healthy. So we did. We swapped butter for margarine, eggs for egg whites, full-fat yogurt for fruit-flavored light cups. And what replaced the fat? Sugar, refined carbs, corn syrup. The very things we now know inflame the body, spike insulin, and accelerate aging. Dr. Evelyn Hart calls it the greatest nutritional bait and switch in modern history. Fat became the villain, but sugar was the silent saboteur. And the numbers back her up. In a major 2018 review published in Nutrients by DiNicolantonio et al., researchers found that replacing saturated fats with refined carbohydrates did not reduce the risk of coronary heart disease, CHD. In fact, it increased triglyceride levels and lowered HDL, the good cholesterol that protects your arteries. Let me share Anna's story. She's 66. Her doctor had told her to stay away from fats because of her borderline cholesterol. So, her breakfast was dry toast, skim milk, and low-fat granola. By noon, she was starving. By 3 p.m., her energy tanked. And after 6 months, her lipid panel, worse than before. So, we made one change. Anna brought back real fats, gently. A teaspoon of olive oil drizzled on her toast, 1 boiled egg with her oats, a few almonds or chia seeds stirred into plain yogurt. Within weeks, her hunger stabilized, her energy evened out, and her lab work, her HDL went up, her triglycerides dropped. Fat wasn't the problem, it was the lack of balance. Think of sugar as a match. Fat? It's a slow-burning log, steady, controlled, sustaining. Here's a gentle test. Look at your next breakfast. Is it avoiding fat, but filled with quick carbs? If yes, try this instead. 1 boiled egg, 1 slice whole grain toast with olive oil, 1 tablespoon chia or flax in your yogurt, and give it 7 days, not for weight loss, for clarity, for steadiness, for protection. Anna didn't overhaul her life. She didn't follow a strict diet. She just changed the message her breakfast was sending, and that message was simple. I'm done starving myself for rules that never worked. Because your body doesn't want punishment, it wants rhythm, warmth, real food that fuels, not just fills. Maybe for years you feared fat. Maybe you trusted the labels that said low fat and heart healthy. But now you know it wasn't the fat, it was what replaced it. And the beauty is, you can choose differently, starting tomorrow morning. A slice of avocado, a boiled egg, a little chia stirred into real yogurt, not for weight loss, but for blood flow, focus, and the quiet sense that your body is healing. So here's a question to hold. What message is your breakfast sending? Is it fear or nourishment, restriction or strength? If this brought you clarity, don't keep it to yourself. There's someone still eating dry toast and calling it healthy. Forward this to them gently. And next time, we'll uncover the forgotten spice monks used to calm the pulse and protect the heart, before blood pressure pills even existed. Until then, eat slowly, start kindly, and let your heart remember what steady feels like.